the middle, what's negative 3 plus 3?
0.
0. So you should get x squared minus 9. Good?
Good.
Good? Okay. All right. 3x times 3x? 9x squared. And then 3x times 4? 12x. And then negative 4 times 3x? And then negative 4 times 4? Negative 16. And then the middle, same thing. So you get 9x squared minus 16. So in those ones, if they're conjugate pairs, 1 plus 1 minus, the middles always cancel out. Yes? Okay. I'm going to do all those ones in that color, and then all these ones in this color. So if you have x plus 3 squared, am I just distributing the squared to both of them? No. So how do I do that? How do I write it?
Write it out twice.
Good, write it out twice. So x plus 3, x plus 3. So really similar, except same signs. All right, and then x times x? X squared. X times 3. 3x. 3 times x. And 3 times 3. 9. So looks almost the exact same, except for they don't cancel out. They just combine together. So it's 3x and 3x. 6x, yeah. Okay.
And x squared goes first because it has this more, the exponent is more than x, just 1.
Yeah, so the bigger exponent. Yep, perfect. Okay, and then this one. So same thing, write it out twice. 3x minus 4, 3x minus 4. Okay, 3x times 3x. 9x squared. 3x times negative 4. Negative 12x. Then same thing. And negative 4 times negative 4. 16. And then what's the 2 negative 12s make? Okay, do we like sense the patterns in these? Like that it's like repetitive, the same thing's happening every single time? Yeah, okay. So for this one, technically this lesson you can do all of these the way that you have already learned how to do them. This is basically just like a lesson of shortcuts, but you're going to want the shortcuts, okay? So the objective today, students will be able to factor perfect square trinomials and the difference of two squares. And the difference of two squares, that's going to be like how you factor your binomials if you're looking for it later. And binomials is how many? 2. Okay, so we're going to do all of the first few like the way that we already know how to do them, because they're like the simpler ones, and then they're going to start to get harder, and then I'm going to show you the like shortcut that you can use. Okay, so for this one, remember what's always, no matter what, the very, very, very first step. That you always look for a what? A what? GCF. Yep. So this one, x squared minus 12x plus 36. Does that one have a GCF? No. What? Because of the 12 and the 36? So it almost does, except for if there was something with a 6 in front of the x squared also. Yeah. Okay, so no GCF on that one. Okay, so then remember we look in front of the x squared. Is there a number that's not 1 in front of the x squared? No. So all you have to do is find the two numbers. So what multiplies to be 36 and adds to be negative 12? Multiplies to 36, adds to be negative 12. No, 32. multiplies to 36. So what are all the things that multiply to
Negative
36?
6 times 6. Or negative 6 times.
Both of them negatives?
Yeah, both of
Yes,
them
good, yeah. So x minus 6, x minus 6.
You literally did 3 of them?
Yeah, because this one's good.
The one.
Okay, so guys, what I want you to do is instead of leaving it like this, I want you to go one step further and write it like this. Like how the problems are written in your warm-up. Just because next unit, we're going to need it written like this for something else when we solve. Okay? All right, try the next one.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
Oh.
I know.
Okay.
No.
Yes, please.
Okay, do we have it?
Yeah.
Almost? I'll give you
Oh,
5 seconds.
I got it.
All right, is there GCF on this one?
No.
Olivia, can you please focus?
There's no GCF. I will
Thank
do
you.
this whole problem for you. I am focused.
Okay. All right, no GCF. And then no number in front, so what two numbers are going to work for that?
3 and 3.
3 and 3, yep. And then we want to write it like this, x plus 3 squared. Okay. Are we good on those? Yeah? Okay. For the next ones, we're missing that middle term, and we're going to, like, learn the little shortcut we can use for that. But for right now, we're just going to expand this out to have a 0 in the middle. So x squared plus 0x minus 16. So you know that your two numbers had to have added up to 0 because they canceled out. So you just have to think what is going to multiply to be negative 16, but they're going to add up to 0. Almost, except for 8 times 8 is 64.
Negative 4. Oh my gosh. My bad.
Yep, negative 4 and 4. Mm-hmm. So x minus 4, x plus 4. And then can I write that as something squared?
No.
No, those are not the same. Okay, try the next one. Your packet? Yeah. It was all in a packet.
I think it's skinny top. Is that
This is how good, this is how good.
It's just skinny top. It probably is. Great guy, I love that.
There's only like 2 assignments. Once there's more, then you'll be good. Okay, what did we get for this one?
Negative 3 and positive 3.
Mm-hmm. Negative 3 and positive 3. And then remember, the order doesn't matter. So if you put the positive one first, that's fine. If you put the negative one first, that's fine. Okay? Good? Yeah?
For sure.
All right. And then that one we forgot to check for GCF because I just know that there's not one. So just write no GCF because there's no GCF. Okay. Next one. Is there GCF?
Yes.
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 What is it?
2.
2. Mm-hmm. Okay, so put it out front. And then what's going to be left?
Y squared minus 1.
Yeah, y squared minus 25.
No. I try.
Okay, so now we're going to, like, what's left in here, the 2. We just broke that piece off. We're done with it. We're looking at this. This is going to be the same as this, okay? So just expand that out to be y squared plus 0y minus 25. And it's the same thing. You're just finding the two numbers that cancel each other out. 5 and negative 5, yep. So y plus 5, y minus 5, and then don't forget to keep that 2 in front from the beginning.
Do you always have to do
Yeah, so all of this, like you need to have all of the different pieces that if you multiply them all together, it's going to get all the way back here. If you don't put the 2, then all it's going to get you to is just the y squared minus 25. Make sense? Okay. All right, let's move on. So you guys try that next one. A little hint. If the highest exponent's not a 2, then probably your GCF's going to include something else.
Oh my god, I did this wrong. Thank you, Sachi.
Uh-huh.
It's 4 squared.
Hmm?
So it's 4 squared.
No, it needs to be squared to start. So if it's bigger than squared,
Oh wait.
then you're going to have to take something out with the GCF.
I see.
So remember, you want the last thing to not have any variables. So use your GCF. What can you take out?
4.
And what else? What else do they have in common?
4y squared.
But does this one have 2 to give?
No, it just has 1.
Okay, so then what can you take out?
1.
Uh-huh.
So 4y squared.
No, you can only take out 1. Is it going to be squared?
How would you?
Yeah, because take out 1 is 3.
So I think you're thinking the y squared is going to be what's left, but what are you taking out?
Oh, just 3?
So what are you taking away to get from 3 to 2?
1.
Uh-huh. So in your GCF is just going to be just y.
Just 1.
Yeah. Yeah. So the GCF is like what you're removing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. This is right.
Check. Yes.
Now
Not confused?
I
What's
actually
what did you do for the
I
GCF?
was ready to go to
What can you divide out? You did 3. Yep. Okay, but what else did you have? What's the difference?
We talked about once.
So you'll divide 3 like we're doing, but also like
Oh my gosh,
away
no.
from all of them. So that is that. You just square it.
Where'd he
So
go?
you don't divide by that.
Even know his name.
I'm a horse.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, Freddie's mom.
Okay, someone do this one. Who wants to do it?
I will.
Olivia, you always do it.
Because you always say hot top, right?
Okay.
Can we go up and do
Let's not go there. Just right this moment. Okay. Okay, what do you do first?
The GCF is 3y.
Okay, guys, Rio, please. Thank you. Is what?
3y.
3y. Good.
And then you gotta factor it, so it's 3y. And then the parentheses and
Mhm.
y to the second power minus 4.
Good.
And then you gotta do the thingy, so it's y to the second power plus 0x minus 4.
Good.
And then it should be like. And then it should be 3y, and then y minus 2, and then y plus 2.
Good. Okay, does anyone have any questions on that one? Okay, Olivia.
I'm sorry.
Like, come on. Control yourself. Austin, do you have a question?
why is it -2?
Because remember the two things have to multiply to make the -4 and then add to make 0.
It doesn't.
So when you FOIL it all out,
If it was -2 and
oh, it's -2 and +2. I think my handwriting is just messy.
No, I know. What would it be if it was -2?
So if it was -2 and -2, so if you look back at over here, so then the end would be a +4, but then the middle would still be there. So that would be like on these ones. See how it's the same number, and then the centers combined together, and they didn't cancel out. Does that make sense?
Oh,
Yes.
It doesn't matter what order you put, like the negative.
No. Nope. No. So if you do the y +2 first, and then the y -2, there you go. Yeah. Okay, Rio, can you move up a seat, please? Thank you so much. Okay. All right. So, yes.
like, are we going to do more examples?
Yeah. So we're actually going to like shorten this down and just learn a shortcut to do it now. So what part are you getting lost at?
The GCF.
Okay. So figuring out what the GCF is or taking it out. Okay,
Like, I
so
know it's 3, but I don't know what to do with exponents.
okay, so what you want to do to figure out what the GCF is for that, always look at this last one, and however many variables this last one has is what your GCF is going to have, because your goal is to get rid of all of them in that last one.
Like there's no.
Yep, then you just won't have any variables. Yep, in the GCF.
What if one of them has a variable?
What do you mean?
Like could 3 only have a variable? Or was
Like
that
this one?
possible? Yeah.
Yeah. So you just want to look at your smallest,
Oh,
because remember it's going to be in standard form. It's going to be the biggest down to the smallest.
okay.
So your smallest needs to have none.
Okay.
Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so now we're going to go back to the 3-term one, the trinomials, and learn the shortcut. So if you look back at the page right before this. So example 1, where when you were finding the two numbers, it was the same exact number, not positive and negative, both negative or both positive twice, okay? So these ones were kind of simple because there was no number in front. We could just find the two numbers, but now the numbers are going to get really big. So we have a shortcut for that, okay? So here's what the shortcut looks like. It's a lot of letters. So just kind of let that sit for a second, and let's just like look at this first example, and then that'll make sense after you do it. Okay, so look at all 3 of these. Is there a GCF that you guys can think of?
Yeah. 5.
Not 16. Or not 25. Yep, there isn't one. Okay. Okay, so what you want to watch out for is you want to look at the first and the last ones, and if those 2 things are something times itself, then you know that it's going to be one of these, and you can use the shortcut. Okay, so basically, if you want to think about it as like if it has a square root, you can.
So you can't use the shortcuts unless those 2
Yes.
itself get
Exactly, yeah. So if it's not one of these, then it's going to be what you guys did yesterday and the day before, where you do like the whole bottoms up thing. Okay, these are just like the random special ones that you get to use the little cheat on. So for this 25x squared, is that something times itself?
Yeah.
Yes. What times itself? Yeah, 5x and 5x. And then what about 16? Is that something times itself?
4.
Yep, 4 and 4. So you know that this is going to be one of the ones where it was the same exact thing twice, something squared. So it's going to be the 5x and the 4. And all you have to figure out is what sign is going to be in here. And the way that you're going to do that is you're just going to look at this middle and look to see if it ended up being plus or minus in the middle, and that's going to match. So since this is plus 40x, it's just going to be a 5x plus 4.
That's it.
Yep.
How did you get plus?
Because the middle term ended up being plus. So that just tells you that as you did FOIL and all of that, everything was positive. That got multiplied, so it added together to make positive. So it's always just going to match whatever that middle sign is. Okay, so then try the next one. Look at it. Look for GCF. See if it's something times itself.
What did you eat?
I know.
Oh my god. Are you Kurt's brother? Oh, the slur? Oh my god. That picture killed me. Oh. It's my mom. What? Annie? Oh, what?
You want a Mormon carnival?
We're going to a Mormon carnival.
Okay. Okay. So, does this one have a GCF?
Yeah.
Yes, no? No?
No.
Mm-mm. Okay. So then look at it. Is 9y squared something times itself?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what times what?
3y, 3y.
Yep, 3y and 3y. What about 49?
7.
7 and 7. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then look in the middle. Oh, is negative, so you will have that. How could I check this?
You could do the foil.
Perfect, yep. So just like in the warm-up, just make 2 of them and then foil it.
All right.
Good? Good on that shortcut?
Yeah.
Yes? Good? Okay. Now the next one. Difference of squares shortcut. This is going to be the one where we were putting the 0 in the middle. The shortcut for that. The reason why it's called difference of squares is because it's a difference. What's the word difference mean in math? Subtraction. So it has to be subtraction. And then squares is going to be like what we were doing here, like the perfect square numbers you can take the square root of, all that. Okay? We already kind of know from just doing it that it's going to break into the conjugate pairs, but you're going to kind of do the same thing with these. So what times itself and what times itself. We're going to skip this because I feel like this is just more confusing. So we're just going to not do that. Okay? All right. So let's look at example 5a. Is there a GCF for those two? Yes, no, no? No? For sure no? Okay. Okay, so next thing that you're going to want to do, and this is the only way that you're really going to be able to factor binomials, except for a GCF. So you want to check that it's subtraction. So is this subtraction? Yes. Then if it is, you want to go and see, are both of these something times itself? So for 25x squared, is that something times itself? Yep. What times what? And then what about 49? Yeah, yes. So this is going to break into the 2 conjugate pairs. You're going to do 5x plus 7 and 5x minus 7. Because the 2 signs being different is what makes the middle not there anymore. Make sense? Okay. Next one is our GCF. Yes. So this one we haven't really talked about just yet. So what number are they both divisible by? By 6. Okay. So whenever this first thing, your leading coefficient is a negative, you have to take out a negative in your GCF. Okay? So if it starts out with a negative, your GCF is going to be negative. Because otherwise, if it starts out with that negative in front, you can't do the methods that we've been doing and have them work. Okay? So do a negative 6. Okay, so that's going to be y squared what? But like minus 100. Yep. Because you're dividing by negative. Okay, so now look at what you have left. Is this subtraction? Yes. Is this something times itself? Yes. Y and y. Is this something times itself? 100? 10 and 10. Okay, so then put your GCF out front. So the negative 6. And then your pattern, y plus 10, y minus 10. And when you're checking this with the GCF, go in the reverse order that we just factored it in. So you don't want to take the negative 6 and distribute it to both of these, because then you're doing like double what you actually are supposed to be doing. So just FOIL these together first and then distribute, or just distribute the negative 6 to one of them. Okay? Okay, try those next ones. done. No. What is it? Which one?
So,
Just 2, because you only want to do negative if it starts with negative. Yeah. Here, keep it minus because you have to divide by negative. No, so you're gonna do the square thing whenever the two middles like combine together. When the middle's gone, it's 1 plus 1 minus. What do you want to do at the beginning first? What do you check for? Are both those divisible by something? Because 9 times 9 is 81, right? Yeah. So what if they both are divisible by? Right. Small. Small. Because 18 times 2 is yeah.
so this one's
No, yeah, the minus does. Because number one is positive and one negative. When you multiply those last terms, it's going to be it's the first plus a third. You're like
Wait, what?
Like what is why would you break that?
Because 2 and 2.
Don't think about the sign, just think about the numbers. Because when you put it in a formula,
Okay.
you're just gonna think that what the 18 turned into. Yeah.
So what did you? So it's saying.
Yeah. So don't worry about like the signs too much. Like as long as it's subtraction and you know it's gonna break down to plus and minus, just think about the numbers. Okay. For the first one, is there a GCF?
No.
Nope. Okay. 16x squared is what times itself?
4x.
Mm-hmm. And then what about 81?
9.
Mm-hmm. And then 1 plus and 1 minus. Okay. And then does B have a GCF?
Yes.
Yes. What is it?
2.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so when you divide out the 2, what's 18 become? 9. What about the 8?
4.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then its subtraction is 9z squared something times itself? Yes. 3z. And then 4. Okay, so you have 2, and 3z plus 2, 3z minus 2. If you are like consistently forgetting to put the GCF in your answer, I used to do that all the time. So what I recommend, especially for the longer ones, is once you take the GCF out, like just put a box at the bottom where you're going to put your answer and just put the GCF in it already, and then you could just forget about it. And then you can just add the rest of your answer next to it when you're done, okay? Okay. These last ones are, we're not going to focus on them a whole lot, but it's just good review of like exponent rules. So for this one, for A, is there a GCF? No. Okay, is it subtraction? Yes, okay. Is y to the 10th something times itself? What? Good, yes, y to the 5th. So guys, remember, what do you do with exponents when you're multiplying? You add them. And what about 64?
8.
Yeah. So same thing, y to the 5th plus 8, and y to the 5th minus 8. Allison, what's the GCF and B? Come on.
Come on, Allison.
No one talk. What is it?
5x.
5x, good. All right. Okay, so when you take that out, what's the 5x to the 7th going to become?
No. X to the
I mean,
X to 6, good. Plus what? 4.
It's just 4.
Okay. Somebody tell me why I have to stop.
You have to put the plus 0.
I could, but it's still not going to work. I promise. Why do I have to stop? What's wrong?
There's a letter on the, no, there's a number.
No, because we did 10, made 5 and 5. We could do 3 and 3.
I
The 4.
Think about the questions I've been asking you. Is it what?
It's positive.
It's positive, yes.
I mean,
So-
that's whatever.
Remember, it's a difference of squares. So there's no way that you're going to have two things cancel each other out in the middle, but they're going to multiply to make a positive. There's just not going to happen, okay? So right here, that tells you to stop. But that doesn't mean that you don't have an answer. That means your answer is that you did factor it, you did a GCF. You just can't keep going. Okay, go ahead and do those last ones. Go very slow and don't get tricked. Go do all the steps in the order you're supposed to. Oh my Lord. Don't forget about the free stuff, guys. I'm still gonna get it in order. So in order for that to happen, for it to be one negative one positive and it's cancel out, they have to be right. And what is the positive and one? So there's no way you're actually gonna change there, because that means you have to see the signs. Are we done? Awesome. You done?
That's my calculator.
Oh, okay.
Look. Open my calculator. What?
Do you want me to wait a minute still?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, are we ready?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Is there a GCF on A?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What is it?
Oh, 2.
Bigger. Yeah, 4. So that one always comes up because it's so tempting because they're like the perfect little numbers, right? But there's GCF. So everyone always gets that one wrong. Okay, so if you take out a 4, you get x to the 6th minus what? 9. Mhm. Okay, and then is it subtraction?
Yes.
Yes. Are both these things something times itself?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, x to the 6th is gonna be what times itself? 3rd, good. Oh, about 9. 3s. So I fall down. Okay, is there a GCF on B?
Yeah.
Yes. What's it gonna be?
Negative.
-2, good. Okay, so when you take out the -2, be very careful. What do you have left?
X to the 8.
Plus 25.
And you just stop.
And then you just stop. Good.
Good.
Why do I just stop?
Because it's a positive.
Because it's plus. Yep. Done.
What do you want from me?
All right, guys. Can you guys do the lesson check, pretty please?
Yes.
You finish it?
For you.
Yeah. And then, you have time to log into Math Excel and do a couple.
I already did it.
You already did it?
I'm too cool.
How'd you already do it?
I did with my tutor.
You feel confident about what you submitted? And your knowledge on it?
No, but
Okay.
I
Maybe you want to go back and review that.
I finished it with 100%.
That's fantastic.
What's the time?
But
It's in like 2
my homework's not that much to grade. April 6th, that's the earliest. But it might change, it might get pushed again.
Oh, so for this one, so I just stop.
Then she does.
Okay, so the only time you're gonna say that it's not factorable is if like you can't even do a GCF. If you do a GCF, then like you did something.
Okay.
Wait, when is it? It's Saturday. Where is it? 2 o'clock.
Rio, did you finish it?
I just wonder how to do that. You pick me up? Probably. You live close to my house. You live right on the tree.
Yeah.
Just fine morning.
Guys, as soon as you're done, get logged into Math Excel while you wait for intuition. Parker, did you finish your Math Excel?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, guys, I'm gonna put up answers to this for people who are done. If you're not done yet, don't look. Okay. And then ask if you have questions on any of this.